Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damion Hill. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. Trash Talk is brought to you again by, Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Strings Tattoo out in New Brighton, Minnesota, Spartan Martial Arts, the Striking Institute, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, and TJ's mom. How you doing tonight, TJ?
Man, I can't complain, man. You say those sponsors and the blood gets going.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like I'm in a pretty chipper mood where we were just clowning on some cats earlier, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about. We'll get into that a little bit, but it's weird, like how the show has grown to what it is, how we have viewers in Australia, Ireland, Nigeria. I mean, countless other countries. I can count it takes two hands to count the countries that Trash Talk is watched and listened to in. And I love it. But it wasn't always that. There was a time where people in Minnesota didn't even watch. People in Minnesota, there's still people in Minnesota that still don't know who we are, even though there's people in Ireland watching the show. The show is not crazy huge or anything, but we do have a fan base. It's crazy for me to say that, but I love the fact that we do. But we do have a fan base. And a lot of the fans are starting to see, or not fans, a lot of our friends are starting to see that the show is growing to where it is.
Yeah.
And I keep getting the saying like, oh man, your shit's that big, they're watching in Ireland. I should start a podcast because I could be talking about a whole bunch of other things that aren't just local Minnesota MMA fighters in Wisconsin. No Midwest MMA fighter. You can talk about things that are way broader than that. You know, I mean, and you can, and you would imagine you'd get way bigger of an audience because you're talking about things that everybody's interested in, not just people from your small town or your city or your state. And it hasn't gone as planned for them, or I don't know what they're basing it off of, like their success or their views and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know why they think that what we're doing is like so great, but then when they start something and they're just starting, they can't understand that yours will be great. Like this is year two. This is year two, and we just picked up Australia.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, and I feel like I'm stealing somebody's quote. And I don't know whose it is, so I don't want to take it. But you can't look at another man's plate and judge your own. What he's eating doesn't quantify what you're eating. As long as what you're eating is good, that's what's great. And to have that comparison mindset, you know, to sit there and be like, well, you know, 50 million people watched the Super Bowl, but I only got 6 views on my show. It's like, well, you're not the fucking Super Bowl, man, with all due respect. And it's one of those things where, I mean, you're never going to run a mile if you don't take the first step. So you can't skip the first 1,000 feet. You can't just run a mile that's 3,582 feet. You can't do that. You have to run the full way, and it's just, I mean,
dude. Oh my God! So like, friends of mine are saying like, this is the perfect step where I believe we talked about it where we used the analogy, and I guess it's an analogy now, but we were talking about a guy who was telling me how he was great. He had a great armbar from guard, you know, but he could never get anybody to guard. So you probably don't have that great of an armbar, guy. You know, if you can't get people to where you need them to be to do what you want to do, then you're probably not that good at it. You know, so if you can't get to guard, probably don't have that good of an armbar. Well, all of my friends have been saying that they have good topics, they have good conversations, they know what to talk about. There's broader conversations. People all over the world would be interested in listening to what they had to say. And I never discouraged any of them. I'm like, yeah, dude, put it out there. Let's see, like let's do it, you know? But I don't like my voice on camera. I don't like how I look. I don't like how that started. I don't like this or whatever, right? Well, then fuck, you don't have that good of a voice or you don't have that good of an idea because you're unwilling to share it. Like it's the whole thing with getting a guy to guard. If you're not willing to even speak the words that you think people will listen to, then maybe you aren't that good at speaking, or maybe you don't. Maybe what you have to say isn't that important.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy, he believed that his armbar was amazing from guard, but he could never get to guard. So he had no armbar, basically, you know? So if you have an amazing podcast, or you have an idea, I mean, for an amazing podcast, but you never record your voice saying it, you don't got shit.
Yeah.
You don't got shit.
Yeah, you're like Uncle Reggie's friend who tells you about this movie he got, the screenplay he got, it's ready to go, and it's like, oh yeah, well let me read it. It's like, well, I ain't wrote it down yet. And it's like, wait, what? Then you don't have a fucking screenplay. You have an idea in your head, and I mean, it's one of the things where, you know, they say, oh, and make it look easy. You know what is easy? Whether it comes across that way or not, what is easy is just doing it. Like you said, you might not like the way your voice sounds. I mean, think of everybody. There's probably some guy out there who hates his voice and he's famous. Ariel Helwani probably gets sick of listening to his voice. You know what I mean?
I still think I sound weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you don't get used to. I have a job where, you know, I have to make, you know, legal phone calls, and it's recorded, and I have to listen to those recordings sometimes, and it's still like, oh man, come on, you know, it's not like that. But it doesn't matter, because I love the way you worded it, where you said, if you're worried about your voice, well, maybe not what you have to say isn't that good. If the quality of what you're saying is there, they'll get past it. I mean, I could have a squeak when I talk. Maybe every time I said S's, I just went squeak. You know what I mean? Like, people will still watch the shit if it makes sense. And it's just one of those things where you won't know if you can't do it. And I'm gonna tell a real story here. I think I've told you this off camera before, but this was recently, within the last 3 weeks, and it's crazy that you brought up this. This is the perfect time for the topic. But as many of the fans know, I live in Colorado right now, and in Colorado, thanks to the voters, we have recreational pot shops.
Then you with the fucking story.
I'm getting on with the story. As fans realize, I also am very fashionable and like to wear trash talk attire. And we go into the store, me and my buddy down here, just like I said, this was 2.5 weeks ago, not even a month ago. And I had my trash talk shirt on, and the gal behind the counter goes, "Oh, that's such a dope shirt." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." You know, not thinking about it. My buddy's like, "You're not going to tell her about the show?" I was like, "Well, I guess, yeah." Me and my friend do a podcast. You know, it's about MMA. I'm not sure if you'd be into it. She's like, "Oh, wow, I really want to start a podcast." And all of a sudden, you know, it's like one of those things like, well, yeah, we'll do it. She goes, "Well, the biggest problem is me and my friend that would want to do it. Well, she lives in Oregon." And I looked at her and I was like, well, the guy I do my show with lives in Minnesota, and we make it work just fine. So it's one of those things where if you have a reason not to do it, it'll never get done. But if you truly want to do something, you'll do it. And hey, here's a good piece of advice. You're not going to be that good at it the first time. And if you are, keep doing it. But if you keep doing it, you're going to get better. Damion and I laugh, and maybe we'll repost the video one of these days just to give people a laugh. But my first video that I did by myself was the worst piece of video ever. You know, I'm whispering, talking to myself, fucking trying to be something I'm not. And it wasn't an organic conversation, and it came across that way. But having that video allows me 1.5 years later to look back at that and go, God damn, I've made some improvement.
One of the things too, this is a little bit of what you were saying earlier, or whatever, is like when our friends, or even that girl at the dispensary, like when they're saying that stuff, like when they think of it or whatever, it's like, oh well, there's a million reasons why you can't. You only need one to do it. We've all heard that quote or whatever, right? But there's other things that go into it too, where people have an expectation. Get rid of that shit before they start. I mean, that's one of the biggest insulting things that my friends have said to me when they say, "Oh, I'm going to start a podcast." One, they never do, but then they always compare to how many listeners and followers that we have at Trash Talk. And well, it took time to build that. And when they post a video, they post one video, because I've had friends try it. They post one video, or they post one audio clip, and that's it. And they get 5 or 6 likes, 30-something listens or whatever, right? And that's not enough for them. Like, oh, well, no one liked it. No one still knows that you're doing it. Those are the 30 people that you exposed yourself to. Yeah. Or the 2 people, or maybe you expose yourself to 600 people and 32 people watch it. Honestly, I think those are fucking great numbers, because we're putting ourselves out to the fucking masses. And we still only get 30-something views on some of our videos. But then we get 1,000 on others. We get 600 on some. We get it's different depending on what we say or depending on who we're talking to. I guess different people want to watch.
Yeah.
But it grew to what it is now, where it's like in Australia and where we got fans in Australia and Ireland and Nigeria and Vietnam for whatever fucking reason. Like, what the hell? Like, so we grew to that, and because they post one video, they don't have that response. Like, motherfucker, you think I'm just now after 2 years of doing this, I'm bragging about how motherfuckers in Australia are watching our videos and how Ireland is like 18% of our total views, and they don't make up the entire number of fucking the United States. So I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, that's insane to me. But those are my numbers. Like, if I compared that to Joe Rogan, I would be depressed. I would be depressed as fuck.
Yeah.
So the fact that people start this off and compare themselves to other people is just, that's wrong. I love what we're doing. And I know that there's other people out there that enjoy what we love doing. And if there's people that not, well, fuck them. And if they do, hey, we're going to keep doing it anyway. Like, I love doing this.
Oh, yeah. This might sound backwards here, but full disclosure, you guys don't have to watch the show. We enjoy that you watch it because you listen to what we're saying, and that's ultimately what it is. And going off what you just said, because I feel like you brought up such a great point, someone going out there and putting out one video and trying to, and look at those results and, on to compare that, you'd be like, oh, well, my first video, well, Avengers came out and they did 57 million the first day. It's like, well, yeah, they had a marketing campaign for months that said this is when it's going to start on this date. You uploaded a video on Thursday at 8 p.m. and you're like, well, no one watched it. It's like, well, no one fucking knew it existed.
Also, the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, that goes into marketing and branding and everything and stuff. It's like, dude, that all started 15 years ago with Iron Man 1. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's like they had toys in the Happy Meal, bro. You can't beat that marketing. You got bored, recorded yourself, and posted a video on Thursday at 8:30, and no one knew about it. So that's why no one watched it. They might have really liked what you said, but you have to keep putting it out so people can get an opinion.
Dude, some of the best criticism came from people I have never fucking met.
Yeah.
Ever. Some of the worst criticism, and it's usually like, I don't know where it comes from. I'm not going to say it comes from a place of jealousy or just hatred or anything like that, but there's so many people out there that feel like they could do it too, but they won't, but then when you do it, it's like, oh, okay, fucking, I'm going to have these critiques for you and shit. And they start saying like, oh, what you said in this episode was stupid, or you look stupid, or that's their advice. That's what they say. And I'm like, well, how did I look stupid? Oh, you just did. This video wasn't right. Or they compare to other YouTubers or other broadcasters on major networks and stuff, how they do their shows. They always compare that to you and throw that in your face like, well, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Well, this isn't that. And just because that one person doesn't like it or doesn't love it doesn't mean that you're not going to be fucking big dick swinging every room you walk into because of the shit you do. Like, people are going to react and love it if they do or not. Like, what somebody says about it to you doesn't fucking matter. Their opinion. Dude, I tried watching Game of Thrones. I watched the first 2 episodes and I didn't care for it. I'd never watched another episode. Like, the series is complete now. I could go binge watch all of it right now. I don't care to. Did not stop it from being like the #1 show on whatever streaming platform or HBO. Yeah, HBO, and downloaded and most illegally streamed and shit. Yeah. Like, all of it. Like, it has the records and all of it. And I don't care for it. It doesn't matter. There's still 100 other million people that do.
Oh, yeah. They don't get, like, realistically, they don't give a shit about us. We're not watching the show. And it's like, they're focused on people that are. And it's one of those things where, like, you talk about the...
Sorry. You just said it perfect, and I know you were going to skip over it, but I need you to know that you said it. Not focusing on the people who aren't interested. Focus on the people who are.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, because you have to do that. There's always going to be those guys that are like, oh, well, I would have did it this way. I could have did it that way. And I like the way you worded it in the sense of the show. But like just to relate it, fans. I mean, there's always that guy, and maybe you're lucky you haven't trained with that guy. But there's always a guy in the gym where it's like, you know, I mean, that's how you throw it, cool. But I would have thrown it like this. Or there's a guy at your job. It's like, oh, that's how you welded that. I would have welded it like this. And it's just you have to get past those people, put on the hater blockers, and go forward, because there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel if you keep pushing. It will get better. People will watch it, and you know, if they don't, they don't. But if you're putting it out there and you're happy with it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like, yeah, maybe the people in your neighborhood don't like it, but you got people in Ireland that love that shit, you know? And that's the thing that I don't think people understand enough, is that you are going to have your fan base. There's going to be something that you present to somebody that I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the same as anybody else in this world, but I feel like there's some things that I say that anybody in this world would laugh to. You know, now there's some people that might feel closed off, reserved, or in the box, and you know, you don't speak well on camera. Well, there's some people that want to watch that. I say I say but, I say if a lot. I pause sometimes. What's up, Michael? And it's not the best habit to have, but like for radio, me saying like all the time is horrible. But the fact that I say it on this show, people have said it that they like the fact that I say like often because it makes it seem more real, like we're having a conversation.
Yeah, because I mean, just use it. He agrees. You use those words, and it's like it's one of those things where you could tell what we're doing. It isn't edited. You do a great job editing the beginning, editing the ending, making it a great presentation. But the fans of the show, this isn't live, but it's live. I mean, you're watching a video. I just got up and grabbed my kid because he was getting mad and yelling in the other room. That's what happens, and the fans get a chance to know us. They get to see us, and all we're doing is talking MMA most of the time. But with that, they still get to see us. They get to get our opinion, and they get to choose. And hey, like I said, they want to watch a show that's great. And for everybody out there that wants to do a show, do it, because people are going to watch it. There's going to be someone out there that they might not be in your neighborhood. People in your neighborhood might say, "Oh, that's dumb. Why would you do that show?" But hey, people in Vietnam are watching.
Boom, dude. Like, and that's the point. So, I mean, if you want to do something like this, go out there and do it. and then ultimately don't listen to what anybody else has to say, because we're sitting here talking about it. I mean, obviously we listened to what they had to say, and we're pounding their asses about it right now. But anybody that I don't know, one, it's not as easy as it looks. Just because I know how many people have like thought it was easy, tried and failed, or not failed, quit. Because what's failing? Like, who the fuck? Like, we're failing on some people's standards, but dude, are we fucking excited as fuck that we're failing, dude?
Yeah, we're killing the game. I mean, am I getting 6 figures off this in my new Lamborghini? Nah, but hey, we're killing the game. We're talking shit. People like to listen to it because what we're saying, to them at least, makes sense. So it's like, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep giving my opinion, and I'm going to better myself to give a better opinion, because that's how the show grows and that's how the show gets better. But when it comes down to it, what happens if you never busted out that camera that day? What happens if you didn't hit me up with a text message and say, hey, man, I think we could do this even though you're living in Colorado now? And just what's doing it? And that's the only thing that stopped us from not doing it, was us doing it. So it's one of those things. If you like, I hate to be life coach because I'm not, but if you're thinking about it, do it. And if you're thinking about reasons not to do it, you don't really want to do it. So don't kid yourself.
Dude, the only thing that was stopping us from doing it was the fact that we weren't doing it. You said it perfect. That's how we're gonna wrap this up. This is Trash Talk, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like this video. Subscribe to Trash Talk with Damion and TJ. Say what's up to TJ's kid. And then also wish TJ a happy Father's Day. This was recorded on Father's Day. This is tomorrow now, so it's the day after Father's Day. Yeah. But happy Father's Day, TJ. And Michael, Learn some words. Say Happy Father's Day right now. Do it.
Say hi, Damion.
Okay.
Yeah.
My boy.
He's about that business, but I do appreciate it. This was filmed on Father's Day. This is Michael. Fans of the show know him by now. If not, you'll know him soon. And this guy's going to be a big brother any day now, so he's excited.
Yeah, and Michael, tell everybody to not be a hoe, please. Say it.
Don't be a hoe, please.